Alright, it is now May 24th. It's starting to grow faster now. As you can see now it wants to start vining, and it wants to go off in this direction, and I'm trying to divert it from that using these sticks here. I've got one here trying to kind of move it that way, and then I've got one underneath so it doesn't fall over and snap. One thing about nudging the plants like this, you want to do it late in the day, because if you do it in the morning when the plant is a little colder, you might run the risk of snapping it because it's not as pliable, and then your season will be brought to an abrupt end, at least for that plant. It would for me, because this is the only plant I have. But yeah, she's going here, and yeah, hopefully we can get her going kind of that direction. Hey, so I'm off on a little side quest here. There's my asparagus, and so I'm just kind of I've decided now that I can see most of this. Most of the spears are up. Some of them are not, but I imagine a lot of them are going to start coming up before too long. I had to bury the root crowns pretty deep, or at least that's what they told me to do, and so far it's working. So I got a few more down there. Obviously, with the weeds in the garden and in the patch in general, the biggest culprit, even after tilling, is going to be crabgrass here, where I am anyway. So I'm just taking my little hand cultivator and kind of running over the dirt. The dirt is very easy to work since it's been tilled and hasn't been walked on that much. It's very easy. It's very finely granular dirt here, which is actually, when it gets really dry, it can tend to get a little dusty. So I like to keep it moist. But yeah, so just gotta do some of that since I've got the time to do it today. So this is kind of an incremental update, but I wanted to show you this right here. Check this out. Some of you guys who grow might be familiar with this. So obviously I've got my heater out in the greenhouse with about 200 foot of extension cable. Now a heater is going to draw maybe 10 to 12 amps, maybe not even that if it's high efficiency. So the cables can handle it. However, these plugs cannot. You can see they are fried, actually sort of melted together. So I got to cut it off and put these other, what do I got? I got some new plugs. We'll just fasten them on there. It's not, hang on, where is it? Here it is. So these are rated for 15 amps, so this will be good. I actually have one of these on another cable just like these. Now, granted, these cables are like going on 20 years old, so I've got a lot of use out of them. So, I mean, having to replace the plugs, it's not too bad. All right, I think it's May 30th. May 30th. My voice cracked. Yeah, like I said, May 30th. 1739 Strickler right here, making a mad dash for the end of the greenhouse now. This thing's starting to grow faster. I feel like the tip is going out at least an inch, maybe every day, maybe more than that. I don't know, but it's starting to grow faster now. Probably more leaves helping out with that. I don't know whether or not to get rid of this kickstand leaf that's on the other side here. Obviously that's where it doubled. This leaf right here, let me get it. This leaf right here is not doing much good anymore, so I could probably get rid of that. But, and as a matter of fact, that leaf I don't think was ever supposed to exist in the first place. I think that's just a mutation. But then we've got this leaf on the other side that's in much better condition, kind of holding the thing up from actually sitting on the ground. And then there's a little bit of dirt right here. I might actually try to work the dirt there a little bit to see if it'll lay down. I don't want to get rid of that leaf because I think that leaf's still doing us some good. Whoa, baby, it's June 4th, and this thing is really starting to grow a lot faster now. It's inching closer and closer to the end of the hoop house, the cheap greenhouse I got. And at this point in the season, you might ask why, but I still have this out here. It's mainly just a pest deterrent. I keep it open during the day so it doesn't get too hot in there, and then at night I close it up. In case there's anything around that might want to come and nibble on it. It might keep the bugs off it too. Not the ants, obviously, but ants are a problem for these plants. But we're getting pretty close to just having to remove it just due to the size of the plant. There is side vine development happening down there. I did get the plant managed to get trained going this way. I think I already mentioned that in the video. Also, we got a couple male flowers. I'm not cutting off the male flowers, mainly because every time you cut into a plant, you're introducing the possibility for disease or something bad to happen. So I'm just kind of letting it go. I think once I get the fruit set and fruit pollinated that I wanted and it takes, then we'll think about, okay, no more male flowers, and I'll have to have some hydrogen peroxide on hand to make sure everything stays sterile. Well, how about that? And interestingly, something else. Let's show you something else I got going. Over here, my field pumpkin plants, and a couple of them are growing pretty darn fast. This one is already on the ground and vining, and I need this to go that way because over here is the edge of the patch. So I'm trying to train that one around. The others, that one's kind of going that way. These two aren't vining yet. They're still a little small. That one is going that way. Is the tip burned on that, or am I imagining things? It's a little dirty, that's what it is. But other than that, it's fine. The leaves are starting to get a little bit more pointy looking, which is kind of more characteristic of field pumpkin plants. The leaves usually aren't as round. And then my watermelon over here, still small plants. I came through here yesterday and weeded a bunch of stuff. And I know now I'm actually going to use the impact sprinkler on this area because it'll stay more moist that way. Obviously, we've got some weeding to do with all of this. It was pretty clear a month ago, but of course the weeds are going to come in. There's crabgrass and just general fescue trying to come up through there. Then over here in the garden, I actually just sprayed 7 over most of it, the 7 concentrate through a hose end sprayer, because I'm afraid I might have some aphids going on tearing into the leaves. I noticed there were a couple of my gold potato plants over here. Maybe I can, I don't want to step on my carrots. They're still small. Maybe I can find one that was, here we go. Yeah. You can see little holes there, which is mainly just this one, and I think this one over here. So we might have some aphids going after the leaves. It's not really bad. I want to catch stuff like that before it does get out of hand, so it doesn't ruin the plants, because I like gold potatoes, and I'd like to have some of those. The reds in the back are doing very well. And everything in general is doing pretty good. My green beans, they looked a little funky when they germinated, but looks like they're growing out of all of that. We're getting some good true leaves, and actually the ones in the back there are bushing up pretty well. I think a lot of the plant development here, as to whether or not it's good or bad, I think a lot of it has to do with how much water the sprinkler got to them, because obviously there's probably some places in the garden here that get a little bit more water than other places. There's not a whole lot I can do about that other than setting up multiple sprinklers, but I only have also spraying the 7 I hope will kind of control the grub population, because the moles are going after them in here. So No grubs in the soil means no moles. My understanding is it doesn't bother the earthworms, so that'll be fine. Sunflowers are doing really good. We got my wife's wanted to plant these, so we got giants mostly in the back here, and then we got smaller ones up front. So some guys are going around showing what they've got in their shed, you know, all the secrets of the gardeners. The secret is there is no secret. It's just a bunch of fertilizers and things. You know, I got a, fortunately, I mean, my shed's pretty well organized here. I saw Moby Mike up there in Wisconsin, is it? I can't remember. I think it's Wisconsin. His shed was a disaster, but he's grown enough big pumpkins that he can just pretty much do whatever he wants. Um, anyway, yeah, here's my rods. I've got Azos here for when we bury the vines. This is a trellis netting for the pea plants that I need to put up probably tomorrow if I can. Mycos, which I don't need too much of that now. Some earthworm castings. There's my borax. I should have just dumped the whole box in the patch, right? And a couple of micronutrients left over from the amendments over here. I mean, I've got the three types of Miracle-Gro here with the different amounts of nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium in them. Right now, I think this one's got the nitrogen stuff in it. Then I got a couple more Hosen sprayers for 7, which I just sprayed, and Daconil, which I haven't used yet because it's not that time of the year. You know, cayenne pepper, probably put that down too. Really keep the bugs out. I'm really hoping that stuff works. Anyway, yeah, that's all there is to it. My tractor, the rototiller, my friend let me borrow, and I think he's going to be picking it up pretty soon, so I need to get this ready to go. All of my hand tools. But you know what? The most effective thing for getting rid of the weeds is this guy right here, the old hand cultivator. Because I can run this guy over it, but all that's doing is aerating them. So I need to use this and literally pick them out by hand. That's pretty much the only way to do it if you want to keep them, if you want to keep rid of them. 10th, and as basically predicted here, now we got to remove the greenhouse because the tip of the vine is basically touching the edge of the plastic. So it's time to get rid of this now and let it grow out in the wild. So I don't know if I'm gonna save this for next year. The frame is in pretty good condition, but obviously the canopy's getting tore up in some places. I'm not sure I can reuse it, so I don't know. We'll see. So I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna weed kind of around it, and then give it some water, and then spread some cayenne pepper just to keep any of the rodents that might be around here out of it. So let's get to it. Okay, looks like we're all set for now. Now if you can, I don't know if I can zoom this in here. Yeah, you can see there's a female right there. It's trying to throw a female at about, I don't know, 5.5 feet, something like that. We don't want it there. You know, this plant has a sense of humor, thinks it wants to make fruit right there. We're going to need that more over there, towards the edge, because this thing can grow. You know, now that it's out in the open, I think if it starts growing faster, we should be over there by the end of the month and be able to set fruit and pollinate it. So yeah, everything's going well except for being behind schedule. Everything's going pretty much according to plan. There is a secondary side vine development in here. Let me get this zoomed back out. Come on, man. How's this stinking camera work? Okay, there we go. Let me see if I can get in here, get a closer look at the secondaries. Yeah, there we go. Well, right there, coming out there, coming out there, coming out there. So yeah, we'll, before too long, we'll see the secondaries. Oh yeah, this one too. I guess this is a secondary. We'll see these coming out. So this is about 16 inches or so from the stump, from where the stem goes into the ground there. The rest of these I'll probably cut off because it's not necessary. That one's trying to make like 1,000 flowers right there. I don't know. That's what they do closer to the stump, I think. So, I mean, we'll just, we'll be rid of those. But yeah, so a little bit of pruning to do there. Probably cut off that leaf. Might cut off the kickstand leaf that was down here. I don't know. That leaf's actually still in pretty good shape. Yeah, that's not bad. That's pretty good. Much like this plant's parent plant, pretty big leaves. And look, I've got pretty big hands. So, I mean, and these leaves make my hands look small. So, yeah, pretty nice plant going here. Hopefully, we'll be able to set fruit down the line there and get something before July. Maybe get a 90-day pumpkin on there. Probably get pretty big. So I think we'll just we'll let this be the end of this video, and then we'll just kind of update as it continues to grow towards the edge of the patch.